Welcome back to Channel Albany, Mr. Vaughn. I'm grateful to be here, along with the show called The Hope Shot, which is my show, but it's not all about me. I'm sitting with the champ right now, Miss P. Yeah, look at that pretty belt, boy. Lift it up, us. Yeah. Yeah, now this is something dynamic for me because we don't hear a lot about women in boxing, and I want to say congratulations.
Thank you.
Definitely
Brother Vaughn.
congratulations, and why don't you share with us a little bit of your boxing experience before we really get into
Sure,
that?
sure. Now, I formally got into boxing in 2015. I had actually gone through an assault in the city of Albany due to someone robbing our house, and it left me feeling in a way that I never wanted to feel again. So I stepped into Quill Street Boxing Gym in 2015, and I actually was trained by a coach there who was an Olympic alternate. Shout out to Kim Bethel, who looked at me and he said, "If you as tough as you look, you'll be able to do something." Boxing was much more disciplined than I expected.
Yeah, definitely.
A lot of endurance, training every day. There's no off days. There are recovery days and there's rest days, but there's no off days. Even during the recovery days and the rest days, you're still doing something to focus on the craft. So, started there 2015, in and out the gym. Then I started working for the city of Albany in 2017, and I worked as a recreation center director until 2020. In 2019, at Quill Street Boxing Gym, which I was appointed the director there. I believe I was the second female director of Quill Street Boxing.
That's interesting. I just want to ask you. So you rub gloves with some good boxers then?
Oh yes,
I
pros, world Hall of Famers, world title holders, male and female, and as well as world title trainers. And we brought home 7 state championships that year. I actually transitioned and started working for the police department, so I was no longer a coach at Quill Street. At that point, I created my own club, and then from there, I started traveling to get training from Team USA. And then now I'm a clinician with Team USA, what's called a bronze level clinician. So I coach coaches on how to be great grassroots level coaches to get to the next step, which is the Olympics and high performance. So my clinics are the first step in high performance level coaching in boxing.
Okay, it's funny you mentioned the Olympics. I missed the Olympics because, when I was coming up, the Olympics was always even more exciting because you wanted to see who was going to come out of the Olympics and make it to the pro, And now they coming right out the gym.
Yeah, it is a difference. Now the pros are coming right out of the gym. There was an Olympic dream before, and we're trying to build that back up. Actually, with USA Boxing, this is the highest amount of membership that we've ever had in history when it comes to Team USA and USA Boxing, which is Olympic style boxing. So yeah, they're definitely coming out of the gym, but having that experience is so important, especially the amateur experience. Things change when you turn into a pro. The way that you move, when I mean like the actual mechanics change compared to amateur boxing. But yeah, a lot of great pros were amateur boxers, including Floyd Mayweather, Roy Jones Jr., Muhammad Ali. Who else do we got?
Evander Holyfield,
Andre Ward.
Did Tyson go to the Olympics? He went to the Olympics, right?
I don't think he went as far as.
He didn't go to the Olympics.
No, I don't think that. Goose didn't get him. I think he was 18 years old when Kusamato died. I believe 18 or 19, and there were age limits on when you can go to the Olympics. Right. And there's also requirements on how many fights you have to have before you are eligible. And with Tyson, more than likely they've seen more of a. He's probably that first wave of more of going into pros compared to going through the hoops, as you say, to go through the Olympics.
Well, my experience back in the reform school time, I was right across from Tyson. So they asked me, did I like to box? And I'm like, why? What's up? You know, they said, well, there's somebody over there, and we're looking for someone to spar with him. You know, because I was a big kid, right, teenager, right, and they set it up. It was all set up. And then Gus came and pulled him out. So it was like a half a second of like a missed moment, man. And then throughout the years, I seen what he did. He became the champion. I was like, wow, why couldn't I just have spar? I wouldn't care if he knocked me out or anything, right? But just I know that I had the opportunity to spar with Tyson, but missed moment.
You had another coach. Kus wasn't your coach. He wasn't. Tyson's coach wasn't your coach. But y'all in the gym, we're going to that gym today, actually, which is crazy enough.
No, they just wanted me to spar with them. I never went with the coaches. I never.
Oh, they was trying to pull you in.
Just to spar.
Well, that's why his coach did that. All right. We had to talk about safe coaching and safe training.
Right.
No one should be being pulled off the street to get good work with a boxer that's already, experienced.
Yeah, but we was in reformatory school.
Yeah, we're younger.
I was right across from him, so.
But he was already boxing.
He was boxing, but nobody didn't want to spar with him.
No, that's right. It's for a reason. And then if you're not trained, it could risk a liability, it could risk a loss in many different ways.
Okay,
so if you want to spar, or people are, here goes the clinician in me. If you ever want to spar, train with a coach and spar. Don't do the backyard thing. They've had these leagues where you can go in the backyard and they set up like a makeshift ring or whatever the case may be, or they're boxing in the park. All of these are very situations that you got to be careful with, because if you get a person who's experienced, you get a person that's not experienced, it could be a situation of over dominance.
And not only that, you want to follow the right protocols.
Correct. We don't allow if you get caught illegally sparring outside, or you make contact with somebody and it hurts them, you will be liable.
Right.
The liability is very important. That's why we're licensed and trained athletes and fighters. I wish I had my book. It's called a passport book, and that's where people say, "Oh, my hands are licensed." They are. They're licensed through USA Boxing as an amateur. So if you go and spar with someone who doesn't have a license, you're in trouble. You could risk losing your license.
Okay, that's good. That's good intel.
Don't let your kids just spar. If you want them to box, take them to a gym and find a coach.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Now we have the UMAs, and we have this, we have that, we have cages, and kicking and using the hands, right?
Yeah.
A lot of us feel that has taken away from the professional boxing. Mm-hmm. Right. Maybe it has, because it's more exciting in a sense. But there are people out there who still have an interest to get in the ring and learn how to just use the hands, right? Mm-hmm. I'm quite sure.
It's a big interest, a high interest. Not everybody wants to do MMA or UFC where you're actually shedding blood, and it's more grappling and wrestling. Some really just want to focus on, the oldest sport in the Olympics, which is boxing.
Right.
And that's a good focus to have.
The original sport. This is pretty much the original ring sport.
Yeah, it's a good experience to have and to do it the right way. And when it comes to USA Boxing, you have to report if you have any fights like that before you can get a boxing license. What you'll get is the UFC guys, MMA guys who want boxing training and also want to compete as boxers, but they have to disclose if they have any of that type of experience, because it's a different type of dynamic with the positioning of the feet. It's a different type of dynamic in the way that you are striking your opponent. So if you get a person who's really, really trained in UFC or MMA and you put them in a boxing match with a boxer, it's different type of work. Anything can happen.
But that's what I don't understand when Tyson fought the cage fighter.
Jake Paul?
Yeah, was it? No, it wasn't. It was Mayweather. I'm sorry. It wasn't Tyson. Yeah, Jake Paul, yeah. So, I mean, the boxer won, but still the tactics that they really train for in the UFCs and UMAs, I know a couple guys who've been through it, and they train hard, and a lot of them end up on fentanyl and drugs because of the pain level.
There is a lot of pain. This is the pain game. This is not a It's not a joke. You don't play boxing, and it is a sacrifice every day, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. You have to really give it your all. And you know what? That's coming from me, a passionate person for this sport. There's people who are not passionate about the sports that they're in. They're just in them to be in them. Maybe they're in them for recreational reasons. You could be recreational and have passion. But to want to win and do it the right way, you have to have passion. Okay. And one of the parts of the passion now as a newer generation or a newer part of the boxing world, because boxing, like we said, is the oldest Olympic sport. It's the oldest sport. And so that means it has a lot of game. And I mean, like, the political game, the way you move, everything else is all rooted in the old school. And the new school, we're focused on safety just as much as the old school. I'll put it that way. Mm-hmm. But we're extra zeroed in because of liability. No one wants to lose a life or their ability to talk, their ability to walk. We have to do it as safe as we can, knowing that we're in a sport that is all about striking. Hit and don't get hit.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about women in boxing. Like, because I remember Muhammad Ali's daughter, she boxed a little bit, right? But it wasn't popular. Like, let's say some phony entertainment, wrestling, or
like exhibition, right?
Yeah, right. It didn't reach that peak. So break down to us now how this thing is developing with women in boxing.
Alrighty, so just recently came from a tournament in Florida called the Havoc World Tournament. It was their first tournament. It's a regional tournament where athletes get ranking, and that doesn't usually happen at every single tournament. Cora Weber, she's one of the first women to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, and she's also a world champion, IWBF world champion. And this was in the 70s, and even during that time she was pro. So there wasn't a lane for amateur women's boxing at that time. Her and her twin sister and other women were able to make it to where amateur boxing was available to women. Let's talk more about women in boxing. Women weren't allowed to box in the Olympics until 2012.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
It was the USA boxing, at least 2012.
Good. That's good. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So we got the 2012 Olympics. We got the 2016 Olympics. We got the 2020 Olympics. And then we bring up the 75 kg. Well, she's 75 kg right now. Champion of the world, Clarissa Shields, who broke all of those dynamics in 2012 as well as 2016 by holding two gold medals for the United States, which has not happened in a very long time.
So she was an Olympic champion.
Olympic champion twice.
Okay.
2016, 2020, and then she did what we were talking about before with the turning pro. After 2016, she turned pro. She did not return to the 2020 Olympics for a third gold medal. And now she is, I think she's undisputed. But definitely, she doesn't have any losses on her records.
How does that work? Once you become pro, you can't return back to the Olympics?
No, you cannot. The Olympics is a part of amateur boxing.
Okay.
Once you turn pro, you're outside of that, and you're not allowed to return.
Yeah, you're pro. That's it.
Yep. Okay. So it's a very serious choice that young ladies and women have to make, and it really decides on what they want to do with their career. Okay. And the coaching that they have. Because when you're an athlete with boxing, it's all about your coaching and your team.
What are the challenges like for you as a woman?
For me, it's definitely the authority thing. Like, the men that I'm working with are very hard. They've been that way. That is how boxing has always been. For men to be hard, you take the hits, you keep going. I'm definitely a challenge to many different coaches, but
that's not relating to men being dominant towards women. That's just the sport, right?
In some ways, if you have a dominant man or a man who's dominant towards women outside of the ring, there's a chance more than likely that he's going to be very dominant with women inside of the ring. If you have a man who is more partial to women and believe that women have a place in places where it's usually men, you won't have that type of situation. But with boxing, it's a man's world.
Gotcha.
But nothing would happen without a woman.
So pretty much women are continuing to break through.
Yes, it has not stopped, and we're just hitting the surface. You know, Clarissa Shields had to fight for equality with her pay, as well as her brand sponsorships. People didn't want to sponsor a female boxer. Think about Nike and all those different things. And this also comes up in her documentary, her biopic. So it's harder for her to get sponsorships. It's harder for her to get paid as much as her male counterparts. It's harder for her to sit in these rooms with men who have been in the boxing community for over 50 years and 60 years who feel like it's a man's game.
Right, okay, I got you. Let's touch on Team USA a little bit, because you did mention something about Team USA.
Yeah, it's beautiful. In December, I was invited to apply to be what's called a bronze clinician, an education clinician. I applied and did everything I had to do, and I qualified. I left in November, and I went to Colorado to the Olympic Training Center, and that's where I was certified to be what's called a bronze clinician. I travel all throughout America, and I teach other coaches the high performance standards of Team USA at a grassroots level.
Okay, let's pause.
Sure.
Pause, because I got a question.
Yeah.
Now, I met you at a boxing ring. Well, let me say, a boxing tournament.
Right. I sure did.
Right. I believe you was coaching.
I think I was officiating. So
Officiating, okay.
yes.
Yeah,
the roles, right?
you was doing so.
Yeah, I had when I got the white shirt on, I'm an official. When I have the coach Preem little sweatsuit get up, I'm coaching.
Okay.
When I got the Team USA on, I'm being a clinician.
All right.
When I got the trunks on, I'm an athlete. So with USA Boxing, I'm a coach, a clinician, an official, and an athlete.
And when you got the belt, you the champion.
Better tell him.
Yeah, that's the champion.
This was work right here. That's not luck.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no. That's definitely work. Let's not minimize that.
Yes, and I want to do better, you know?
Okay, so yeah, like I said, I met you. You was officiating.
That's right.
And I know this is a real serious passion for you. Now, if I recall, you gotta excuse me, I'm half baked, not fully cooked yet. But if I recall right, this was different ages.
Yeah, that was sure
for
was.
kids going on up, right?
Yeah.
And it was very exciting. And I remember going to the bathroom when I was a kid. He was crying, and everybody gave him that attention, and we was all saying it's okay. You still a winner, you know. And he gave it his all. So I guess early into this, you may have those moments, and as long as you don't shut down, or if you keep going and have that drive, you get better.
That's correct. The coaching part of that is important. When you have a good team around you, you have good coaches, they're going to encourage you to believe in yourself and to, like Kus D'Amato used to say, learn to manipulate your fear and other people's fear. So that happens a lot. The week before my fight, I had a type of situation that almost made me want to quit, you know. When it comes to sparring, you got to have sparring. I'm a female. I'm about 5'8", 5'9". I came in at 165. Well, I registered for my tournament at 165. I came in at 157.
Now, what is that? A light middleweight?
That'd be a middleweight.
Middleweight.
And then I'm going down to super welterweight.
Okay.
But I had to spar last week with like 4 different random people, and then that's where it goes into the thing about like not sparring people off the street, different things like that. My coach was trying to. He said, I heard him say he was trying to test me, but it didn't break me. But after the sparring, I definitely felt like, well, maybe is this really for me? But Vaughn, I trained for this fight from April on. Mm-hmm. So I only was with that gym for 5 weeks of my camp, the last 5 weeks. We sparred. I did not spar the whole time at that camp except for that one time. Mm-hmm. I sparred 4 different men, 3 minutes each, with 3 different experience levels. Mm-hmm. Now, that's old school coaching of throwing them in. I'm not that type of coach. We don't want to break the athletes. We want to encourage the athletes. That's why in that situation, that young man was definitely held by our community, because it's supposed to be for the kids, it's for the athletes. But if you have hard training or you have a very hard environment, you're going to have a low retention level of who has the attention to stay in the boxing.
Okay. Okay, no, but I recognize that, you know, he was a kid, probably 8, 9 years old.
And supported.
And supported, right. And that's very important because you know, when I was a kid, it was like the more I roughed myself up, the more I wanted to get back in it. You know, and unfortunately nowadays there's so many distractions for kids, especially with devices, social media, whatever the case may be. You know, just there's too many shortcuts.
You can't take any shortcuts in boxing, y'all. Trust me.
Yeah. So no shortcuts. That's what I'm trying to get at, right? Like
you can't cheat the work.
You got to go through it. Yeah. Yeah. So okay. All right. So how was it for you to endure to the end, especially with training?
Wow. It brought something out of me that I didn't know that I had in me. But the reason why I decided to be an athlete this year is so I could feel what my athletes are feeling when I'm pushing them to their limits or pushing them to get to the goal that we have created. I felt like everybody is different. I felt like I needed to go through the process, so therefore it would be smoother for me to help and guide my athletes. That training was intensive. I believe for me the hardest part of the training was the emotional part, because of the fact of women. I guess it's stereotypical. Women tend to think and criticize and analyze more than men. A man could take a punch or a jab and they'll say, all right, that was a good jab, or whatever the case may be. A woman will break down the timing of the jab. If the jab was off by angle, did the person step when they needed to? It's also good boxing IQ, but it's just a natural thing that a woman does. So it's a lot of critical parts when you're training as a woman because you want to get it right. So you're criticizing yourself extra hard on what you need to get right. And for me, the hardest part of my training was endurance. I'm very busy. I have my own boxing club. I have to go to work and be an adult and responsible for properties and different things like that, and being a mentor. So the hardest part for me was digging and getting the things that I needed for myself first, which was being able to run and my endurance. Those were the things that were my homework. Those are the things that I needed to do, and those were the hardest things. The hardest things to do were for myself compared to for others. For others, it just seemed so easy. But when it came to my training, the hardest things that I needed to do were the things that I couldn't do with the team. The team can't run with me.
You said the word intensive and critical. Those two words you mentioned. So I could imagine it's very intensive.
Yes.
And just being able to hang in there and not give up, that's a compliment in itself. Win or lose, but like just saying, you know what, I'm gonna get through this and I'm gonna get in that ring and do what I gotta do.
So many times.
Shalom, I took my
Thank you, sir. Much respect to you.
Definitely. All right, so let's talk about Supreme Sports. That's what it is?
Yes, it's my nickname.
All right.
It's spelled Supreem. And I always get, you spelled it wrong, but I spelled it like my nickname. The kids knew me as that. It was always that. In Supreme Sports, boxing is a part of Supreme Sports USA, which is a 501c3 nonprofit. We really appreciate all of our sponsors and people our funders who have helped us, including the Carl E. Toohey Foundation. We're granted by the New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services, and we're also contracted by the Albany County Improvement Initiative, and we work in schools. This year we'll be working with Myers Middle School. We're actually going to be there for their open house tomorrow to show the kids about boxing, show them the belt and the other belts that we have, and try to get them involved and interested to come to our weekend program. We have a weekend program that's at Trinity. It's free. It's from 11 a.m. to about 2 p.m. on Saturdays and Sundays. We're always there unless we have a tournament, because boxing is big on the weekends, unless it's a long tournament or match, that's a whole week. But match bouts, and tournament dates are usually on the weekends. When we do not have those dates, we are training for free from ages 8 until 19 at that location at 15 Trinity Place, and that's Trinity Alliance. Thank you very much for your partnership there. We also are covered under the New York State Division of Criminal Justice Service RISE grant. It's called actual RISE. And we partnered with the YMCA, the Capital District YMCA. So if you have any athletes that are ages 15 to 19, they're able to go to that location and get training from our training assistants and our staff, which actually are youth that have grown into the program and now over 21 years old, who are now registered coaches. So that's Monday and Tuesday at YMCA, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. And if you have any questions, you can always call us 518-606-9217. That's 518-606-9217. You can also email me at coach, COACH, at supremesports.org, and that's spelled SUPREEM sports.org.
Okay, well, I'm going to encourage you to keep that up, and I don't know how high that belt can go, but can it go? No. I'm talking about can you win another belt higher than what you have?
Oh, yeah, sure, because it's different tournaments. So now I am a champion of this bracket at this tournament. So the highest belt that I can get in USA Boxing is a USA Boxing Nationals belt. To qualify for that belt, I have to have more than 5 fights. This was my first fight, and I fought against someone with multiple fights. For me to go to Nationals, I would have to have 5 fights at my age and my bracket, and I only need to win 1 out of the 5 to be able to get that belt or at least compete for it.
All right, so let's work towards getting that other belt. I thank you. Damn.
You know.
That training, it paid off. I thank you, Preem. And listen, to keep up the good work with Channel Albany and with the youth and coach, right, Supreme Sports. And this is part 1. We're going to do this again.
We are.
We're going to do this again.
You're now watching Channel Albany.
Channel Albany.